You caught me unclothed. Now choose, be mine or lose me forever, the alien girl's bold offer. Accidental encounter. The maintenance tunnel's hatch hissed open, and Marcus Chen stumbled into what he thought was Hydroponics Lab 7. The dim, iridescent lighting should have been his first warning that something was different. His tablet's navigation system had glitched again, a common occurrence on Research Station Andromeda 7, where the alien technology interfaced unpredictably with human systems. The chamber pulsed with soft violet light, crystalline formations growing from walls that seemed to breathe. Marcus froze. This wasn't any lab he recognized. The air itself shimmered with microscopic particles that made his skin tingle pleasantly. You shouldn't be here, a melodious voice drifted from behind a translucent partition. The accent was unlike anything in the station's database, fluid, with notes that seemed to resonate in his chest. Before Marcus could respond, Lirelei Solmir stepped into view, and his breath caught. The Solmari dignitary stood in her natural form, her skin catching and refracting the ambient light like living crystal. She moved with liquid grace, her silver hair floating as if suspended in water. Her eyes, deep amber with flecks of gold, fixed on him with an intensity that made him forget every protocol he'd ever learned. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean," Marcus started, but she raised her hand. "You've seen me unguarded, without my ceremonial coverings," Lirelei said, stepping closer. The air between them seemed to thicken with an energy he couldn't explain. "Among my people, this creates a bond that cannot be ignored." Marcus's tablet clattered to the floor. "I don't understand." "You caught me unclothed of pretense, of the barriers I maintain with others," she continued, now close enough that he could see the delicate patterns flowing beneath her translucent skin. "By Solmari law, I must offer you a choice: accept the connection between us, become mine as I become yours, or leave now and never acknowledge what has passed between us. There is no middle path." His scientific mind raced, trying to process the implications, but something deeper, instinctive, kept him rooted in place. The way she looked at him wasn't predatory or demanding, but vulnerable, almost hopeful. "How long do I have to decide?" Marcus whispered. Lirelei's lips curved in what might have been sadness or anticipation. "The moment you leave this room, the choice is made. Stay, and we begin a journey neither of us expected. Go, and we become strangers forever." The station's recycled air suddenly felt too thin, the weight of an impossible decision settling on his shoulders. The weight of choice. Marcus's heart raced as he stood frozen in Lirelei's private chamber. The crystalline walls seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heightened heartbeat. He couldn't simply walk away. Something inexplicable held him there, beyond mere curiosity about xenobiology. "I need to understand," he said softly, his voice barely audible above the gentle hum of the Solmari habitat. "This choice, what does it truly mean?" Lirelei moved to a curved bench that seemed to grow from the floor itself, gesturing for him to join her. As Marcus sat, maintaining a respectful distance, she began to speak, her voice carrying the weight of generations. "My people form connections through resonance," she explained, her amber eyes never leaving his. "When someone witnesses us in our truest state, physically and emotionally unguarded, our biosignatures intertwine. I can already feel it beginning between us." She placed her hand over her chest, where a soft glow emanated beneath her crystalline skin. Marcus felt it too, a subtle warmth spreading through his chest, like standing in sunlight after weeks in the station's artificial environment. "But I'm human. How can this resonance work across species?" "That's what makes this remarkable," Lirelei whispered, sliding closer. "It's never happened before. Yet here we are, and I feel your presence like a song in my consciousness." The next days became a delicate dance of discovery. Marcus found himself returning to her chamber each evening, learning about Solmari culture while sharing stories of Earth. They would sit in her garden of bioluminescent flora, their conversations flowing from scientific theories to personal dreams. "On my world," Lirelei told him one evening, her fingers tracing patterns in the air that left brief trails of light, "partnership isn't just emotional. It's a complete melding of lives, purposes, even biological rhythms. We synchronize." Marcus reached out tentatively, his fingers meeting hers. The moment they touched, a cascade of sensation flowed between them, not quite telepathy, but an emotional echo that made him gasp. He felt her loneliness on the station, her fear of failing her diplomatic mission, and underneath it all, a growing warmth directed at him. "I feel you too," she breathed, her other hand coming to rest against his cheek. "Your dedication to understanding life, your gentle nature hidden beneath scientific formality, your fear of taking risks, and your growing affection for me." Their faces drew closer, the air between them charged with possibility. Dancing in starlight. The station's monthly Unity celebration transformed the central hub into a glittering wonderland of multi-species harmony. Marcus adjusted his formal jacket nervously, searching the crowd for Lirelei. They had agreed to attend together, their first public appearance since beginning their mysterious connection. She appeared at the entrance like a vision from another dimension. Her ceremonial dress seemed woven from starlight itself, shifting between translucent and opaque as she moved. But it was her smile upon seeing him that made his breath catch, radiant and genuinely happy. "You came," she said, taking his offered arm. "I couldn't imagine being anywhere else," Marcus replied, surprised by his own boldness. The celebration swirled around them, humans, soulmates, and a dozen other species mingling in careful diplomatic choreography. But for Marcus and Lirelei, the rest of the universe had faded to background noise. They danced to music that somehow bridged their worlds, her natural grace guiding his uncertain steps. "The others are watching," Marcus murmured as they swayed together, acutely aware of the curious glances and whispered conversations around them. "Let them," Lirelei responded, pressing closer. "I've spent too much of my life concerned with appearances. With you, I want to be real." Later, they escaped to the observation deck, where the vast spiral of the Andromeda galaxy spread before them in all its glory. The deck was empty, offering them a private universe. "On Earth, we have a tradition," Marcus said, pulling her gently against him as they gazed at the stars. "When two people care for each other, under a beautiful sky, they—" "Show me," Lirelei whispered. Their lips met, and the resonance between them exploded into full bloom. It wasn't just a kiss, it was a sharing of essence. Marcus could taste stardust and feel the pulse of her dual hearts against his chest. Her fingers tangled in his hair as his arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her impossibly closer. When they finally parted, both were breathing heavily. Lirelei's skin had taken on a golden glow, and Marcus could feel an echo of her emotions, desire, joy, and something deeper that might have been love. "I choose you," he said simply, the words carrying more weight than any scientific oath he'd ever taken. "Whatever that means for our futures, our careers, our worlds, I choose us." Lirelei's response was another kiss, this one deeper, more certain, as the galaxy wheeled silently around them. Bridging two worlds. The morning after their declaration brought challenges neither had fully anticipated. Marcus was summoned to Commander Harrison's office, while Lirelei faced the Soulmate delegation in their crystalline council chamber. "You're compromising the entire research mission," Harrison said bluntly, her fingers steepled on her desk. "The Soulmates are here for diplomatic negotiations, not interspecies romance." Meanwhile, Lirelei stood before Elder Corvain, whose skin flickered with disapproval. "You offer our most sacred bond to an outsider? One who cannot even fully perceive the light spectrums we cherish." But the opposition only strengthened their resolve. That evening, they met in the xenobiology lab where Marcus had been working on a revolutionary project, a bioharmonic chamber that could allow different species to share sensory experiences safely. "I've been modifying it," Marcus explained, his hands flying over the controls. "If we can sync our biorhythms here, we can prove that our connection isn't just valid, it's scientifically significant." Lirelei placed her hands on the crystalline interface he'd integrated just for her. "You built this for us." "For our future," he corrected, pulling her into his arms. "Whatever that looks like." The chamber hummed to life around them, creating a pocket dimension where their biological differences melted away. In that space, they were simply two souls reaching for each other. Marcus pressed her against the wall, their kisses growing more passionate as the harmonics amplified their emotional connection. "I can feel your heartbeat," Lirelei gasped against his mouth, her hands exploring the planes of his chest. "Just one, but so strong, so certain." "And I can feel both of yours," Marcus replied, trailing kisses down her throat, marveling at the way her skin seemed to sing under his touch. Like a symphony. They spent hours in the chamber, not just sharing physical intimacy but truly learning each other, every fear, every hope, every dream laid bare through their resonance. When they finally emerged, they had become something new, not quite human, not quite soulmate, but perfectly, uniquely theirs. The research data they'd collected would eventually convince both governments that their bond represented an evolutionary leap in interspecies relations. But in that moment, holding each other in the soft light of the lab, they cared only for the miracle they'd found in each other's arms. Forever intertwined. 6 months later, the observation deck had been transformed into something unprecedented, a fusion of human and soulmate ceremonial traditions. Crystalline formations grew alongside Earth flowers, while holographic stars danced with real bioluminescent particles in the air. Marcus stood at the altar in a suit that incorporated soulmate light thread, making him shimmer with each movement. His parents, attending via hologram from Earth, wiped tears as they watched their son prepare to join his life with someone from another world entirely. Lirelei entered like a living aurora, her dress a masterpiece of combined cultures, flowing silk that phased in and out of translucence, revealing the natural patterns of light that danced beneath her skin. Her family had traveled from the soulmate homeworld, their presence adding an ethereal glow to the ceremony. Dr. Harrison, who had become their unexpected ally, officiated. Today, we witness not just a union of two individuals, but a bridge between civilizations, she announced. Marcus and Lirelei have proven that love transcends the boundaries of species, of worlds, of everything we thought we knew about compatibility. The vows were exchanged in both languages, creating a harmony that seemed to resonate through the station itself. When Marcus spoke the soulmate promise of eternal resonance, his pronunciation was perfect, hours of practice evident in every syllable. When Lirelei recited the human vows of partnership, her voice carried the warmth she'd learned from him. "You may now seal your bond," Harrison said, stepping back. Their kiss was more than ceremonial, it was a fusion. The bioharmonic technology they developed created a visible aura around them, gold and violet lights intertwining in a double helix that left the audience gasping. For a moment, everyone present could feel an echo of their connection, understanding viscerally what they had found in each other. Later, in their newly designed quarters that blended both their needs, climate controls that could shift between Earth-normal and soulmate conditions, furniture that accommodated both their physiologies, they held each other close. "No regrets?" Lirelei asked, tracing patterns of light across his skin, a soulmate sign of deepest affection. "Only that it took a navigation error to find you," Marcus replied, pulling her closer. "Though I've begun to wonder if it was really an error at all." She laughed, the sound like crystal chimes. "The universe has its ways of bringing souls together, even across the vast darkness between stars." As they lost themselves in each other's embrace, the station continued its orbit around a distant star, carrying within it proof that love could indeed bloom anywhere, even in the cold vacuum of space, between two people who should never have met, but were always meant to find each other.